Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige, and today I'm going to recommend you some Omegaverse romance books. If you're not familiar with Omegaverse, Omegaverse is kind of a fantasy type world with almost like shifter creatures, except they don't shift. You have your alphas, and you have your omegas and your betas, and betas are kind of just like normal-ish type people, and your alphas are kind of like the top dogs, you know, the ones who are in control and lead their packs. And then you have the omegas who are who the alphas need and want. They are the ones that are fertile, the ones that you carry the children, you know, who have the babies. They can be horribly abused because they are like so wanted by these alphas, but the books I'm recommending you today are very sweet Omegaverse stories. I've not read any that are cruel or, you know, abusive, but I know that there's some out there. But these are sweeter, lighter Omegaverse romance books, and I really enjoy reading these because it's almost like paranormal, but not quite. They don't. The very first Omegaverse book I picked up, I kept thinking, is this a shifter romance or what? Because they kept talking about like alpha and beta and omega, and I'm like, but they never shifted. So I quickly learned what Omegaverse is. So I have a few to share with you today. The very first Omegaverse book I read is Baby in the Late Night Howlers by Kathryn Moon. I love this series by Kathryn Moon, and also Lana Kole contributes to this series. I favor Kathryn Moon stories. They're just a lot better. I love the, you know, the storyline and how she tells them, how she writes them. Hers are my favorite, but I do really enjoy reading this whole series. This is the sweet Omegaverse series. So Baby in the Late Night Howlers is about this girl named Baby, and she has thought she has been a beta for a really long time because she never, you know, changed into, you know, alpha or omega, so she has just been considered beta. Well, one night she's at this bar and her omega instincts kick in, and when omegas are produce a strong scent that is very alluring to alphas, and she immediately starts perfuming. This guy there who wears his alpha scent immediately smells her, but he's like a beta. He takes her to safety, even though she's very drawn to him because of his scent, but he wears the scent of his alpha. So she ends up going to the Omega Center. It's in a center for omegas who protect them, who train them how to be good omegas, and also pairs them up with a pack. So different packs can submit their scents, and they they basically just like smell a bunch of cards, and whichever one, you know, is very alluring to them, they'll pick out their packs that way. And so this is what she goes through, and she's about to go into heat, and she finds her pack. It is a motorcycle club. They are the Late Night Howlers, and it's kind of a rush job. Usually it's more like a courting type of situation where they would court her. Alphas really do a lot for the omegas. You know, they create a beautiful nest, a very comfortable nest. Just gives them like courting gifts and all this, but it's kind of a rush job since she's needing her pack. Well, she's needing her pack as soon as possible, so she moves in and with her pack, and they're all kind of learning each other while she's learning herself too, because she never knew that she was an omega. So this is their story, the first book in the series, and I really enjoyed it. And then the next two books are kind of like a duet, and it is Lola and the Millionaires, part 1 and part 2. This is about a girl named Lola, and she is best friends with the Baby from the first book. She kind of has been in a bad situation. She ended up being with some alphas who abused her and did not take care of her, but she finally got away from them, and now she has met this beta but he is from a pack and she's super nervous about it. She really likes him, but she's super nervous about being around an alpha. She just kind of has severe PTSD from being around alphas. He gets her a job with the Omega in their pack, and Lola is a beta herself too. And they kind of slowly but surely can bring her into their pack. She has to live with them for a while because the bad pack, the bad alphas from the pack she was with previously are still after her. And so they kind of have to, you know, she lives with them to be more safe. And she learns to trust them and love them over time. And the fourth book in that series is Lyric and the Heartbeats. This is about a girl named Lyric. She is an Omega and she is a very famous singer. She's always tried to be independent. She takes medication to try to keep her Omega like heats and all that away because she doesn't want to have a pack. But she is now wanting to go on tour and she needs a band, so she holds auditions and she picks the best from the auditions. And the people who go with her on her tour, she really becomes close with and learns to trust them and love them as well, and they become a pack. And I really enjoyed this one. This one is from the first 3 books in the series is by Kathryn Moon, and then this one is by Lana Kole. The 5th book in that series is Fighting Instincts, and this is about 2 Omegas. They have been together for a really long time until she wants to find a pack, but he does not. And so she goes off, finds her pack. He's very lonely because they've always been in love, and he is a fighter, and he gets really injured one night. Someone rescues him, and it's somebody from her pack, and so they bring him in to heal. And also, you know, this is the story of him kind of intertwining into their pack and being with her again, because it's really, you don't really hear of 2 Omegas being in the same pack, so it's kind of, this is kind of like a rare situation. And then the last one I've read in that series is Bad Alpha. This is by Kathryn Moon. This is a girl, she's an alpha, and she is kind of like an assassin. She takes on all these jobs. She is a really badass character, and she doesn't want a pack either. She is very content to be on her own, but circumstances happen where she is offered to be in this pack, and she kind of has to stay with them for a while, and so she reluctantly kind of becomes one of their pack members, one of their alphas. So I really enjoyed this series by Kathryn Moon and Lana Kole. It really gives you a sweeter side of the Omegaverse world. I also read Omega Academy and The Circle by Lily Archer. Lily Archer has written a fairy series that I really liked, and so when I saw that she had an Omegaverse, this is a trilogy, but I don't think the 3rd one is out. It wasn't out when I was reading the first 2 books, but this is about a girl who's living on Earth, and she kind of gets taken by these people from a different planet, and which doesn't really hurt her very much because she lived a horrible home life. She had a horrible home life on Earth, and so they kind of, you know, she goes to a better place when she's taken from Earth to go live on this different planet, and of course it's like a Omegaverse world on this planet. She has to go to the academy there, and because she's in high school when this happens, the 3 alphas who take her kind of become her, I don't know, I wouldn't say guardians, but they kind of protect her and show her around, show her the ropes, and they do ultimately become a pack. And there's a lot more that goes on in these stories because there's like bad guys that come to play, and they're having like to save their planet and all that. But it was pretty entertaining, and I did enjoy this series from Lily Archer. I also read Manix by Grace McGinty. This follows an Omega named Naja, and she is taking care of her little sister, which she's taken care of her since birth. So she's basically like her mother. and she is trying to raise her on her own, trying to protect her because they come from a really awful place. Their father was basically having children and selling them off and was just really, really horrible. And so they escaped him and all of his men. I think they're from kind of like the cartel. These guys from the Manics tribe come to, you know, find her, and they bring her back to their community. And because they noted that she's an Omega, which she did not know herself, and I think, and she is also part Manix, which she never knew. So they bring her back, and she is living there under their protection because I think it's her father or her stepfather are still after her. And this is their story. And then the next story begins with her stepbrother. He is the one that helped rescue them in the first book. He and his partner, they go to where Naja is in the Manix community. Him and his men meet a girl named Bonnie there. She is already in a relationship with somebody, but she is they have like a children's home where the orphan children are, and she takes care of them, and they are kind of still at war with some people, and so he comes back to help protect them. And of course they have a lot of children to protect in this book because she does take care of all the orphan children. I really like these two books by Grace McGinty. It kind of shows a different side of the Omegaverse world because there are some shifters in this book, in these books. And then the last book that I've read within the Omegaverse world is Good Girl by Sam Hall. This is about a girl who is an Omega. Her mother has always kind of taught her to be a perfect Omega, but she's kind of rebelling against what her mother has always wanted for her. So she makes a deal with these alphas. The alphas' dad are trying to push them to find an Omega, but they all love each other. They really don't want to interrupt their relationship with each other because they don't want their relationship to change. So they all kind of pull a Bridgerton move, and they make a deal with each other. If it appears, you know, that they're like fake dating each other in a fake relationship, it'll appease her mother to have, you know, found a pack, and it'll also appease their father that they have found an Omega. But in the process, they end up falling in love. I think Sam Hall has written another book for this series that I'll have to read at some point, but those are all of the Omegaverse books that I have read. Let me know if you've read any that I've not mentioned in this video, because I'm always looking for good Omegaverse books. I don't want to read any that are, you know, horrible or bad. So let me know if you have any that you recommend, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.